Welcome to this new add-on spotlight. In this add-on spotlight we're going to look at the Hawker Hurricane MKI, which has been recently updated. This update is really to fix some of the minor issues, right? For example, they fixed the fuel mixture and throttle, they fixed the magneto switches, so you can now switch easily on the engine. There was a fix for the landing gear. There are still some lightning issues or issues with the lights, and they fixed the reverse rudder pedal. They tidied up the cockpit, and hopefully in the next release they will also fix the fuel selector, and that's also what they mentioned in their own release notes. Besides that, there was an interim update in between where they fixed an issue with some kind of some joysticks and the canopy which wasn't working correctly, and there are some new liveries, so let me show those first before starting to fly. All of the previous ones are still there, right? Including the Hawker aircraft memorial version, but the B505, that's the latest one which has been added to the package. So we're gonna depart from Lossiemouth, which is the Air Force base somewhere in the northern part of the UK. So let's click on fly. You can see the weather is not that nice, so let's see. And let's see if these functions have been improved indeed. Let's see if we can really start the engine with the single button. I do think that that's the case, but let's double check it. What you see in the start of the year is that a lot of vendors or a lot of community members are releasing new versions. On the other hand, the pace in which it went, say in November timeframe, is a little bit decreased. So hopefully the number of new aircrafts and new stuff will, I would say, increase again. Some of the vendors like Aerosoft will release a new aircraft shortly, so that would be really cool. We're waiting for that. So you can see that the cockpit has been tidied up, right? So there's some new stuff and some improved stuff here. The fuel setting has been set correctly. This is the engine choke and the throttle. Then this button still requires some attention. Then we've got the lights here on the bottom. We've got some other buttons for the magnetos, and those are now also working. So let's see if those are really working. And here we've got the starter switch, which didn't work previously but should now work. Other than that, the meters were already working fine, right? If we go here, we see that the landing gear is still visible. This panel requires some attention, but that's, I would say, kind of expected in case you are still flying in a developed, or in a, say, in a, what's the correct wording? In an aircraft which is still under development. That's probably the best wording. So the canopy, right, closed currently. So let's see if we can start the engines. So probably we need to set the magnetos here and then press that single button. Still could be that we forgot something else. I'm thinking about batteries, etc. So let me first double check that piece. So gears are down, that's correct. Then we've got the fuel selector, which we cannot modify, right? Then we've got the engine choke, which we don't need to touch. Starter switch also should not be necessary. So I'm a little bit surprised that it doesn't work. I would have hoped that it would work actually. So let's see what we've did wrong in that case, because this button doesn't work. These are the magnetos. I'm wondering if these are both the magnetos or if one of them is the battery. I would expect that to be honest. So still pressing Ctrl E works. So gonna disconnect the engine again. See, I'm doing something wrong, which the Ctrl E key does correctly. So let me see what they. No, I'm really surprised by this, but never mind. So it looks like that either I forget to do something, but I'm not sure what. So gonna try it one more time. So the engine is stopped, as you can hear. So we're gonna switch on the magnetos. Let's press the button one more time. Or is it something they do magically here or something? No. Then we simply hit the Ctrl E key. Then I'll probably need to figure out what's going on, right? So let's go to the checklist. If it's available. Checklists. No, there's no checklist available. So that's something I need to figure out. Probably I forgot to switch. I do think I forget to switch on the battery or something. That would be the most, I would say, realistic thing. So from the outside, right, the aircraft hasn't changed much. It's, I would say, it's still the same. Although this livery looks really cool and really detailed. So now it's ready to take it out for a fly. So let's do that, right? I'm gonna remove the parking brake. Can I increase the throttle? Watch out, people. Oh, probably took the wrong. I'm gonna take a detour. Over the grass. So let's take the taxi route. We can either go straight forward or we're gonna go to the left. And if we go to the left, then we end up at a runway, which is this one. So I'm gonna drop the flaps. And then we're gonna try to go airborne. One of the things which I observe here is that the if we look at the let's say rotor, right, it looks like a very small one. If you look at, I'd say, watch out, at this circle, but it's much larger. So that's probably, I would say, something which needs to be adjusted. Because if we go to the outside, you can see that it's much larger. While we're here, let's see if the gears button works. Oh. That works fine. And we're airborne again, right? So it looks like that some of the things have been fixed. The piece of the engine, that's probably my fault. I'll probably forget something to do there, which I need to figure out which kind of button you need to switch on. There are still the workaround to use the control and the E key from Echo. So this piece works. So the fix the fuel mixture and throttle, right? Those can be found here. Throttle and the choke. So you can now, I'd say, adjust them both manually. Let's try to avoid it. We're not going too steep. And we're flying again. So most of the issues have been fixed. Several enhancements have been made, which is really cool. I think this is still one of the, I would say, one of my favorite aircrafts. Especially if you look at, I would say, old aircrafts. This is definitely one which is very good quality. You can still open the canopy, right? Even if you're flying. So if you're hot, then you can get some cool air in. And you can close it simply by pressing this button or getting the handler. Other than that, there were not so many updates, but I would say some crucial updates again for this beautiful aircraft. So this is where this add-on spotlight ends. I hope you liked it. If you liked it, then consider to use the like button. If you've got questions or comments, then feel free to post them in the comment box below. And if you want to stay up to date about new videos I'm posting on my channel, then make sure that you're subscribing to my channel. Thanks again for watching and see you next time.